And I wanted to talk about something you kind of brought up last segment, and I want your thoughts on, because I know, and it's tough because I don't want to say you're the only Goff defender, because I like Goff. I believe Goff can be your quarterback when you're winning playoff games. I believe Goff can be your quarterback if you win this year in the NFC North. Like, I got a lot of faith in Goff.
Well, I mean, earlier in the show, you already said he was the second best quarterback in the NFC.
Factually, he is.
Right.
I agree there. He is. And I'm willing to have that debate. But with Goff, and as a Lions fan, you got to look in the future as well. I think that's super important for any organization. It's not always about next year. It's about the next 5 years. And with Goff, and you're seeing reports this offseason, and the biggest thing to me is Daniel Jones. You're seeing guys like Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, guys that are coming up with contract extensions, Derek Carr, for example. These guys are going to get paid, whether we agree with it or not. Daniel Jones, $45 million. Hell to the no.
I like DJ.
Like him, but do you like him for 45 is the question. It's a lot of money. So with the quarterback market as it is, and with Goff playing the way he is, because I did say second best quarterback in the NFC, you don't have to worry about it right now, Stick, but you at least have to think when that extension comes. And if you're Jared Goff, and this is assuming, because Goff could be, you know what, I'll take a discount, I'll continue to make $30 million. Stafford did that with LA. You never know. But let's assume Goff knows, hey, I'm 28, he's going to turn 29, I'm playing some of the best football of my career, I want to get paid. What do you do, Stick, if you're Brad Holmes and he's offering, or he's asking, for $45 million? Are you willing to pay that price tag for Jared Goff?
I'm sitting Jared down, and I'm having a hard conversation with him if he's coming to the table of wanting max money for a quarterback or that $45 million. I'm being like, Jared, you were able to revive your career here in Detroit.
Yep.
If you think there's a better opportunity for you outside of Detroit that's going to pay you $45 million plus give you the opportunity to win, take it. We don't have that in our bag right now for you. We appreciate what you've done, and this is me being a Jared Goff guy.
Yes.
But understanding, listen, you're going to have to work with us because this is a relationship thing that has worked out. This isn't a one-sided thing where you're coming in and saving the day. You're coming in and you're fitting into our system. You're fitting into it very well. You are probably the best play-action passer in the league, or at least that's what the statistics said before you got here. And now that the Lions have built a solid run game, they have utilized that skill set. So I'm saying, hey, we've kind of built this around you. We like your skill set, but don't get it twisted. You're not going to hold this team hostage either. So either you want to be a part of the team, take a little bit less, but you could potentially win. You'll make that money up in endorsements, because I'm telling you this much, Jared Goff, if you win a playoff game here in Detroit, you are royalty.
And you're right about that.
You will make more money in endorsements from the Ford family than you will ever
Little
make
Caesars.
in contract. Yeah, Little Caesars. I mean, we could go on and name every Detroit company that would hire this guy. Hey, I'm playoff winning quarterback Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions. That's how I'm positioning it. And I don't know if you heard the story about Goff over the weekend, because I've been under the impression, when Goff first came to Detroit, he was staying in the lofts actually right above us here at Woodward Sports. He was staying on the fourth floor, I believe. There's some condos above us, and he was in there with his beautiful fiance, and they would come down here to Birmingham Roast, get their coffee. The first time he was walking around, he had security with him. We all kind of clowned, like, dude, you need security in Birmingham? Like, this isn't L.A., homie. And he spoke about that, the difference between L.A. and Detroit fans. I want to keep Jared Goff. I just don't think that he is worth max money.
And the reason why I bring that up is because with Goff, you'd assume this team would win around 10 games a season. Right from now on, you'd expect them to win probably more than 9 games, assuming that's what you expect to win the NFC North, maybe 10, 11 games. You follow that up, maybe you win another 10 games. You said you would be like, you know what, Jared, this is what I want from you. If we're not willing to agree, someone else will give you that elsewhere. Then what's your plan at quarterback?
That's the question.
Because that's the problem, and that's why I can see, and especially over the last couple weeks, I've come more and more to the idea of drafting a quarterback, because think about it logically. If you take a quarterback, and again, everyone has their different flavors. I'm a big Bryce Young guy, CJ Stroud. Those are my 2 picks. Will Levis, okay. Anthony Richardson, I'm probably more shying away from it. Anyway, if you take one of those guys, and let's just go with CJ Stroud. Say what you want about CJ, but the reason why I don't mind the quarterback thing is because you take CJ, he sits until Goff, that conversation happens, at least then you have a plan. Like with the idea of saying, well, we have Goff, we're good, and then you get to a point where he's asking for $45 million, and you're sitting there going, well, we don't want to pay him that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Like, you got a playoff roster, but you got no quarterback.
Well, that's the thing. There's quarterbacks available every offseason. You just listed off a bunch. Derek Carr. Okay, Goff doesn't want to play ball. We could bring in a Derek Carr.
But they're all recycled though.
But that's the free agent market, right? And that's the way it's going to be. But you can upgrade, and you can have somebody else come in. We all believe in Ben Johnson, right? We all think Ben Johnson is the end-all, be-all at offensive coordinator. If he would have left this offseason, where would the Lions have gone?
Right.
I don't think people are giving Dan Campbell enough credit for being able to call an offense. You know, he does come from the Sean Payton coaching tree. He was an offensive player in the NFL. I think Dan Campbell has a little bit to do with those play calls and a little bit to do with the offensive scheme. Not taking anything away from Ben Johnson, but once again, they're working well in tandem. Right. And I think that's the new pitch for Jared Goff is, hey, we're giving you all the tools you need to be successful. What other team are you going to look? You're going to go to the Ravens once they get rid of Lamar Jackson? Who are you going to be throwing to? That's no good. So I think Jared Goff, if we're projecting moving on from him, this is where you do find that veteran backup that can come in and game manage. I saw somebody in the WoodwardSports.com chat say that Goff is an elite game manager. To me, that's not an insult. Tom Brady was also an elite game manager. Flannel Sam knocks him for that. Oh, he never put up massive stats in the playoffs. You know, he won a playoff game by just managing it. And it's like, yeah, that's what you do. You put your team in a position to win. And I think Jared Goff is that guy that can do that for the Lions repeatedly.
And in the playoffs, at least with the evidence we have with Jared, he hasn't been an elite playoff performer, but he's made it to the Super Bowl, right? He had Todd Gurley, he had a great run game, great defense.
Yeah, I'm a results-oriented guy.
He did enough to get to the Super Bowl. But you bring up Tom Brady when he faced Bill Belichick. I mean, we know what happened there. It was they scored 3 points, so on and so forth. Goff is you've seen him improve. He's 28 years old. But you don't think Goff, let's say Goff right now asks for a trade, or he's like, get me out of here. Besides Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff would be the most sought-after quarterback. It'd be probably between him and Aaron. So, to your point, if you try and say, convince Goff, well, we've built this whole system around you, Goff can say, well, I got the Commanders, I got this team, so if you're not going to pay me $40 million, see you later, alligator. I'll go to any of these squads. And that's the point I'm making with the whole quarterback thing is I don't want to be stuck high and dry without any game plan except a game plan of, well, we'll just go get somebody's recycled quarterback or somebody that, like a Derek Carr or an Aaron Rodgers, something like that.
And that's why Brad Holmes gets paid. He's going to figure out this puzzle. It is a very, because there's so many hypotheticals with it too, right? I mean, this year coming in, what was the debate? Oh, our backup quarterback situation. What's our backup quarterback? Who are we going to have at backup quarterback?
That I'm not.
Who cares? Hopefully, we never get to that conversation. No. It's such a luxury to worry about your backup quarterback when you have your starter set in stone. Right. I don't. To answer your question, I don't know what the move is 2 years from now.
Maybe drafting a quarterback.
You can draft a quarterback, but I'm drafting the next great quarterback. I'm not drafting a quarterback just to draft a quarterback, and that's what frustrates me about this draft. Hey, we need a quarterback. It's like, okay, just because we need one doesn't mean you go spend a lot of draft capital on one, or it doesn't mean you just draft a guy to just throw him in the system and, Stenson Bennett's never going to really play, but we got a quarterback. Like, why are you doing that?
I agree with that. If you're going to take a quarterback, I'm more so on the train if you take him at 6 overall. And the part of it is you have this pick as a luxury pick. Like, this is the Rams pick in a season we did not expect. We expect this pick this season to be
Rams,
in
by
the
the way.
20s. Thank you so much to the Rams and Matthew Stafford for missing a majority of the season. But that's also the point, is in the future, you only have the Lions picks. You'll be picking probably 20s, hopefully, expecting. What quarterback you getting? Lamar Jackson? I mean, he was taken at 32, but still, like, these guys aren't always coming out. You want top of the draft, your Joe Burrows, Lawrence, Herbert, those types, Allen, those types of guys. So if you're going to take a quarterback, it would have to be this year. Am I wrong?
You're wrong.
Why?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Because
there'll be a quarterback next year. There'll be quarterbacks the year
20?
after.
At 22? You're going to be able to take your guy?
Yeah. Where was Pat Mahomes drafted?
Like 10th.
Like 10. So that's not super high in the draft. You could trade up to get to that position if you wanted them.
But that's also assuming the team at 10 would be willing to give up whoever that quarterback is.
Well, we're making a lot of assumptions already, saying Jared Goff isn't going to be the guy for the next 5 years. Like, we're already projecting that Jared Goff's moving on in 2 years. So I can make leaps too.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
I don't like walking in, just with my eyes closed and we're just figuring it out at the quarterback position. Jared Goff, to say he's the quarterback for the next, 4 years, number one, you got to see another season like this past one next year. What?
I was just going to read a comment. You're not getting a franchise quarterback at 22. The real Kay Collins said that, right? Sometimes you're not getting a franchise quarterback at number 1. Sometimes you're not getting a franchise quarterback at number 2, 3, 4, 5 overall. Like, just because you're drafting them earlier does not guarantee they're going to be good players. And I wish people would look at past drafts and understand this. Out of the past 20 quarterbacks that have been drafted, 2 of them are great.
No denying how hard it is to get the quarterback right. But my point is, you'd much rather take a chance at a top 6 pick to take your quarterback than wait and say, well, we'll just wait to 22. Or we assume I can just trade up and, like, I've seen a lot of that. Don't worry, guys, we'll get Drake May, we'll get Caleb Williams. Hell no, you won't. You won't get those guys. Because if I'm one of the teams at the top, I'm not giving you my pick to take them. If I need a quarterback, oh yeah, Brad, no problem. Here, you can have them. You can trade up and get Drake May or Caleb Williams. It's not happening. So that's why you at least have to be more accepting of the possibility that a quarterback may be in play. I just hate when people say, like, they'll see a mock draft with a quarterback taken, like, oh, hell no, all defense.
Yeah, that's
really
me. I'm that guy.
So, and I'm not saying you have to take a quarterback, but I'm okay with it. I'm not going to hate it.
But listen,
how can you hate it?
This is my personal view. I don't think we need it. But here's the best part. You can have your opinion. I can have my opinion.
Yes.
And I think we both trust Brad Holmes to make the right move.
You do. Yeah, we do.
And that's what makes me sleep well at night. If Brad Holmes decides to draft a guy at 6, I'm going to say, you know what? Brad Holmes is smarter than me. This is the right thing to do.
Right.
If Brad Holmes waits and drafts a quarterback in the 6th round, I'm going to say, you know what? Brad Holmes is smarter than me. This is the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. So as much as I have my opinion about how I would do it if I was in Brad Holmes' position, we'll wait and see what Brad does, and then we'll know what the right answer was.
Yeah, because even last year, it's funny, too, looking back at the last year's draft, Aiden, okay, we had an idea if he's there, you're taking him, but you didn't know he'd trade up. There's a lot of things that happen that you never know. Nobody knows what Brad's going to do.
Who would have thought they would have gotten Jameson Williams last year? I mean, you could go back and watch our live draft show from the brass rail, and some interesting things happened with our lineups to where, like, I had it scheduled out to where, like, Adam, Scout, and somebody else was on for the first 5 picks, and then I believe it was Maz and a couple other people for the next 5 picks, and then Braylon and Ermanni. Well, they wanted to all be together, so we kind of jumbled up where they were. And they jumped out of the spot where they would have been calling the pick for Jameson Williams. That's how nobody knew what was going to happen. And I wound up being there when that pick came through. And I think it was me and you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like me and you wound up on the desk when that happened. We had no clue that was going to happen.
Yeah, a funny story, too, when the pick was, it was announced you traded up, a lot of people assumed it would be Malik Willis. Looking back,
oh yeah, no, we were chanting Malik. People were chanting Malik in there.
That is ridiculous. I can't believe that was a real thing. Jameson Williams, happy you're lying. We're gonna go to break.